Hello and welcome to another Imperator Rome news update. Now, before I get started, if you hear any noises in the background, maybe like a small child, that's because I have a small child in the background. But anyway, let's get on with the news. So, Cicero, the fourth update, is now live, and this is the one that splits the cities into cities and settlements and also metropolises. Plus a few other changes that we've been told about, the food system, for example. But now we have the full changelog, so I think we should probably go through it, because there are some interesting things that haven't been mentioned. So, first off, split cities into cities, settlements, and metropolises. Only metropolises and cities have the 3D buildings on the map. Still a little bit sketchy on that one, but we'll see. Settlements are now the basic owned territorial unit. A settlement has a lower pop cap than a city and can only have one building. We knew that already. Settlement buildings are different from those available in cities. Yep. A city can be founded in a settlement for a cost of gold and political influence. A city can have multiple buildings and will have higher population cap than a settlement. In cities, more slaves are required to produce surplus goods. A metropolis can be upgraded from a provincial capital city with a high population. City buildings are still available, but it will have a higher migration attraction and more building slots than a city. 16 building types are available to develop your cities. There's one new then. One of them is new because there was only 15 before. Gonna have to have a look at that. Added 5 new buildings for settlements. Good. Food is now produced in all owned territories. The amount is dependent on the local terrain. Food is consumed by pops and military units that would otherwise take attrition. Any surplus food is stored in the province. A large food store will increase population growth and local defensiveness. A depleted food storage results in starvation and lowered defensiveness. Surplus trade goods can now also generate food. These can be imported to feed big cities. Lovely. Right, so, game balance. What do we got here? The ruler of a tribe will no longer make or keep retinues. If you've been keeping up with my Gaul Asia campaign, I've had that issue. I made my ruler into a general, and the first unit that became loyal ended up being a retinue. Splitting off the ones that weren't loyal meant that I could, he was stuck having only one unit forever, which was not so good. So that's good that has changed. Price of light cavalry has been increased from 6 to 7. It seems like a small change, but it's definitely necessary. Light cavalry was easily one of the best units in the game, and the increase in purchasing price also affects their maintenance cost. Reduced mercenary maintenance from plus 300% to plus 25%. I think this is a typo and it's probably 250%, but I've got the game open and we'll check when we get into it. Pirate raids are slightly less frequent. I mean, that's good. I still think they need an overhaul entirely, and I have made it my suggestion already on what I think that overhaul should be, so I'll put a link to that in the description below, and if you want to go and check out that suggestion, that would be great. Technology invention costs are now based on X cost per pop in your country. Just a bit more of a balanced thing, I guess. Prestigious trade goods invention now increases export value instead of lowering trade good cost or trade route cost. Regulated moneylenders invention now increases import value instead of global commerce. Okay. Now I have changes to some heritages. Tartessian heritages increase build cost. Thracian heritages reduce provincial investment cost. Blah blah blah. The interesting ones here. Ptolemaios heritage now decreases population assimilation instead of reducing diplomatic reputation. That's painful. That's really painful. That's a horrible nerf. I feel like it's probably required because it was a little bit too fast to convert all of Egypt to Macedonian. But even so, that is painful. That is very, very painful. Seleucus heritage now increases royal popularity, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Armenian heritage, I like Armenia. It now reduces subject opinion instead of siege speed and increases manpower recovery speed instead of hostile attrition. I like it. That's pretty good stuff. I like it. All of it. That's the nerf is less painful and the bonus is better. So, yay. Rural heritage now decreases cost to found cities instead of cost to build roads. Fair enough. Alright, so some good stuff there. Half the mercenary debt threshold for recruiting. Okay. Overpopulation no longer reduces population growth, instead reduces migration attraction and pop happiness. Overpopulation modifiers are now scaled to how many pops you have over capacity rather than scaled to total population. Starvation is now more harmful. Good. Climate now has a smaller effect on pop cap, but also affects food output. Good stuff. So that's just a rebalance. All of it is needed for the food change. So it's not really a change so much as it's linked to the rest of the food stuff. Removed growth category for trade good, replaced it with a food category, fine. Grain, fish, livestock and vegetables are now in that category. Salt now increases pop cap locally, surplus of salt increases food storage capacity. So now salt has got nothing to do with army maintenance. Interesting. And also fine, I'm okay with that. Alright, so economy. AI will consider building economic buildings where appropriate based on scripted weights. AI will consider changing gov policies periodically based on provincial needs. I feel like this is in every single patch note, but it's fine, it's good. More changes to the AI is a benefit, I think. Rewrote defensive league formation logic that will now primarily grow in response to a common threat. That common threat is the first guy around them to reach 25 cities, I imagine. AI will now assault given breaches and sufficient manpower. I don't think I've ever seen the AI assault, which was actually smart because assaulting is a terrible idea. I wonder if this is going to improve the AI for the better now, or is it just going to be a case of wait till he assaults and ruins his army and then I stack wipe it. We'll see. Antagonist system. Now this is a new one that we haven't seen yet. Countries can now be defined as antagonists, which gives them mechanical benefits against other AI countries, and also higher bonuses at higher game difficulties. Rome, Carthage, Macedon, Thrace, Parnia, and Arverni are now antagonists. They've removed the deprecated Lucky Nation bonus for Rome, Bactria, and Parnia. Good, because Lucky Nations is a terrible mechanic, and it should not be in any game ever, because it's garbage. Although, I mean, antagonist is sort of the same thing, really, isn't it? All antagonists use the previous Roman aggressiveness. Yeah, making various countries more aggressive, totally fine with. Giving them bullshit modifiers, mechanical benefits, it's just disgusting. No, I do not like this. Do not like this at all. Garbage. Making them more aggressive, fine, perfect. That's the way to do it, but this is just trash. It's basically Lucky Nations, and I despise Lucky Nations. It's a bad mechanic. It's a lazy mechanic. Anyway, interface. Default for trade options is now auto accept trade and never give up capital surplus. Good, so now I don't have to remember to go into that every single game and click both the buttons. Reworked the buildings interface. Good, because that was a little bit awkward. And added an outliner category for city building improvements. Okay, that's fair enough. I assume this is in the macro builder, maybe. No, outliner, that's the one on the right hand side. For modding, prices can now be scripted to use gold per pop. Is antagonist trigger for countries, good stuff. Rebalance the earthquake so the killed number of pops should be more correct to the given amount in the tooltip, reducing the cost of paying to take care of affected provinces. Prove legitimacy interaction now gives bloodlines to characters' descendants if discovered. And a Mediterranean capital decision now moves your capital for you and gives better modifier than before to the new capital. This was the one that the Seleucids had if they took Antigoniea, if I remember correctly. And now for bug fixes, migrations now use migrating speed and not conversion speed for pops. Pops will no longer migrate into volcanoes or wastelands. I mean, this was just fun. And apparently they used to also migrate into oceans, which is also kind of hilarious. Mercenaries are no longer caught in an endless loop between two cities after employment. Imprisoned disloyal characters can no longer start a civil war. Be nice if there was some added thing onto this, like if I'm disloyal and I'm really wanting to start a civil war, like, you know, break me out of prison maybe. Although, I mean, prison for like people that were that high up, like that high ranking, was more sort of house arrest, if I remember rightly. So maybe they kind of should be able to do that. I don't know. Fixed city dominant culture not being recalculated as it should. I also found this in the Galatia campaign, though that video where I find that issue isn't out yet. Anyway, and fixed a bug that made pirates sometimes multiply, especially when the game was reloaded. That must be what was occurring in the Baltic quite a bit. So yeah, some good stuff here and some strange stuff, but mostly good. So if we jump into the game, I want to check out Egypt real quick. Because first off, there is a lot fewer cities. Oh, you can definitely tell on the map. This used to be covered with buildings. Yeah, how the cities are in Greece. There's a lot of cities here as well, in fairness. Well, that's a settlement right there. Olympia is a settlement. This is where the Olympics take place. Would that not be a city? Sparta, of course, is a city. Megalopolis is a city. Athens is a city. Yeah, makes sense. A couple of cities there. City, 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 city. Is there a city map mode, perhaps? Is it in population map mode? I mean, you could maybe sort of tell from this where the cities are. Maybe. Be nice if there was a city map mode, though. Alright, so. Buildings. There are now 16 buildings in cities. So let's have a look. Also, this is the new UI for it, which, in fairness, it's much cleaner. Much cleaner. So Granary now, we don't have any new icons. Court of Law, this is the one that looks new. Each Court of Law would give the following benefits. Territory, provincial loyalty plus 0.02. Lovely, okay. It's a nice building. It's a nice addition. And there's space for more buildings here. I'd say we've got space for another 6. Although, I mean, in fairness, this could end up being up here and this could go down here, so we've really got space for as many as is necessary. But yeah, I quite like it. So we've got our food income. Food in Western Delta is increasing by 22.4. And Alexandria is at plus 17.8. So I had a comment basically saying that a lot of this is down to maybe the granaries when we saw it as Rome. Alright, so we can see here the food input for just Alexandria. So it looks like all of that is because of the trade goods. Yeah, no, that's definitely it. It's all because of the trade goods. Farmland gives it good. Surplus of grain, there we go. Surplus of fish. Capital territory. And then the percentage bonus for grain, fish, vegetables, warm climate. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of the bonuses for capitals is down to trade. Yep, that's what the deal is there. All right, lovely. Well, there is the extra unit, sorry, the extra building. Now let's have a look at mercenaries. So maintenance cost premium, 113%. Do I know? I like the military experience that required. Military experience, by the way, has now got a new icon. I can't open the console. I forgot to open it with debug mode. But either way, yes, there is now some a new icon for military experience, but not for this here. Would that not be the same? I don't know. Either way, that's cool. And then for Egypt itself, we have the heritage of Ptolemais. Oh, negative 25% pop assimilation speed. That is painful. That I think is identical to Seleucus. Yeah, pop assimilation speed, negative 25%. It's even worse for these guys. Egypt is now going to be the one that explodes because at least Seleucids have wrong culture happiness. Plus 10%. Egypt has nothing of the sort. That's going to make Egypt incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. I think. Maybe. I mean, their culture is not very Macedonian, let's be honest. Either way, that is the new changes. That's the patch notes. That is pretty much everything I want to talk about. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. Let me know what you think of the changes. I'm going to go and play around with the food system. and see how it works. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.